I genuinely feel bad for the Jets defense. And let's lose the music here, and we'll dive a little bit into this. But for those of you around the country who aren't paying close attention to this, the Jets have a Super Bowl caliber defense right now. Not in the future, but right now. They've lost their last 2 divisional games, one against New England, one against Buffalo. Their defense has been brilliant in both of those games. I mean, valiant. They did not allow a single touchdown to the Patriots a couple of weeks ago. That was the game that ended on the return punt. And then they stifled Josh Allen and the Bills yesterday. I mean, stifled them, shut them down on a tough weather day. And in those 2 games, which probably will ultimately wind up costing the Jets a spot in the playoffs, that defense watched their offense play 8 quarters with 3 different quarterbacks and score 1 touchdown. That's what the Jets offense gave them. So look, Mike White, valiant, plays hard, love him. I appreciate his willingness to play through the obvious extraordinary pain he was in. I felt bad for him. The offensive line should absolutely just hand him their checks from this, whatever it is that they pay those people. They really almost got Mike White killed on the field yesterday. But at the end of the day, the Jets offense just isn't good enough because their quarterback position just isn't good enough. Mike White, and I was saying this to you a couple of weeks ago, Mike White at his apex is okay. He makes a few throws that make you say, ooh, look at the arm. But I think a lot of that has to do with just how bad the other options are. And the fact that Zach Wilson is not even dressed, and they have to go to Joe Flacco, who absolutely retired 2 years ago and is just standing there collecting a check now. He wants no part of being out there whatsoever. Zach Wilson absolutely should be dressed and playing these games. So there were a lot of things about that frustrated me yesterday. 2 weeks in a row you say about the Jets, well, I respect the fight, but at some point, you're too good to just be about the fight. They should be good enough to win these games, and their offense hasn't been.
Yeah, this is how good the Jets' defense was yesterday. The Bills had 232 yards of offense. The Bills punted 8 times for 347 yards. They hadn't punted 8 times in a game since Josh Allen's rookie season. The Jets' defense played great yesterday.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear you say that you think Zach Wilson should not only be dressing, but should be essentially backing up Mike White at this point, when it's pretty clear he's still resetting or rehabbing himself.
Well, that's the thing, is that they've obviously decided Zach Wilson needs a full timeout. So now the idea that he's going to go from this, where he's standing there just looking forlorn in a parka, to becoming the starter at any point this season, like, it's obviously way worse than we realize. This is not about having sloppy footwork. This really is now, I think, becoming evident that it is what we thought it was at the time. He has so lost the rest of the players on that team, who are only too happy to immediately lift up Mike White in praise, that clearly he has so lost his own locker room, Zach I'm talking about now, that they realize they can't put him out there. Because Joe Flacco is as finished as a person can possibly be.
And didn't Robert Saleh say after the game that so long as he's healthy, Mike White would be the starter next week, right? And that's where the Zach Wilson experience is, that Mike White getting dinged around like that is still a better option than him.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.